Okay, let's do this. We're going to be talking about Ghost, not ghosting, nothing like that, but effectively Ghost is a free open source blogging platform. So the tool is written in JavaScript. It's distributed under the MIT license. It's designed to simplify, online publishing for specific blogs, newsletters. I started looking at it effectively because I'm looking for WordPress alternatives, but also because it was an option on Amazon Lightsail in terms of a pre-packaged application to deploy as part of their instances. And gave that a go, tested it out. It had a few issues with what I wanted to do with it. So I thought, let's go and actually deploy this manually on Lightsail. So what I've done on Amazon Lightsail, I've deployed a vanilla Ubuntu 2004 server. Maybe it's 2010, not too sure. One or two. And I'm going to run through the installation process and get it up and running. It's a very interesting option. It's coded in Node.js. So it's a little bit different to WordPress, obviously built differently. It's aimed to sort of knock off WordPress, I think, from the looks of it, and it's becoming popular. So I'm not going to do a migration of my WordPress site on this video, but just to get it up and running, right? Let's have a look and see. So I've got this Ubuntu server here. All right, so let's start by adding a new user. So add user, let's call it Ghost Run. Oh. Usually work as root, but let's do this to add it in. Okay, so let's put a password in. Full name, I don't think we need to put all this in, but let's put it in. Ghost user, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Is information correct? It sure is. Okay, let's user mod. Let's assign some permissions to this. Sudo ghost run. Yeah, it's a pretty cool name. Let's actually put a sudo in front of that as well, I think. Cool, okay. And now let's log in as the new user. So su dash ghost run, password. Cool. Okay, so now we're on as ghost run. So what we're going to do now is update some packages. Probably I should have done that before, but I think I've given this user the right permissions. So app get update. Yep. Okay, give it a crack here. Wait for the updates to come through. Probably could have done this before the recording started, but that's okay. I'm going to do an upgrade next, won't we? So let's wait for that. I assume these Lightsail images are pretty much up to date anyway. Upgrade. Yes, we want to do that. Okay, let's give it some time to go through that. Once this finishes, we want to install Nginx. That's what's going to host the website. All right, so that took longer than expected. There was a lot more to actually update because I'm a sucker for punishment, but just shows that you should always look to upgrade those instances, even if they're deployed fresh from AWS. So now let's install Nginx. Nginx, yes. This should be pretty quick. This is going to be our web server front end. Okay, so now we have to basically configure the firewall to allow Nginx full. Whoop. If I spelt that correctly. FW. Okay, very good. Restart it as well. Now we're going to install MySQL. So MySQL-server. Let's get that cracking. Okay, so once this is installed, we've got to go in and edit the user account there. Okay, so now we have to go into MySQL. We've got to run a command here to update the user with this command and set a password. So let's go here. I'm just going to copy this straight up. Paste it in here, password. Let's do the usual weird password, which gets changed. You guys won't see that. So auto root at localhost identified with that by that. Let's enter that. Query OK, 0 rows affected. Okay, let's see what that did. If it actually did update it, let's quit that. Okay. And now let's log in with that user again, but I think we're already there. Ghost run. We're already there, aren't we? Okay, next we're going to install Node.js, which I don't do very often, being honest. Well, have to remember to put sudo in, because sometimes okay, so now we can do a sudo apt-get install -y Node.js. And once this is done, we can start with the Ghost CLI. It's like got its own command line tool that you can do to operate and configure, stop, start the service. So obviously a little bit more self-contained than, say, running a WordPress website in that sense. So now let's actually get the Ghost CLI installed. So sudo, I'm going to use npm install Ghost CLI at the latest build and -g. Error. What have I spelled incorrect there? Interesting. What if I just didn't do latest? Okay, this looks like it's doing a bit more now here. So once it's installed, we should have the Ghost CLI command installed. So let's wait for this to finish. Okay, so let's run Ghost command line help to see our list of commands. Cool, so Ghost command line is installed. Now we have to install Ghost and actually get that cracking. So the server's set up with the prerequisites. So now we're going to basically install the server itself. So let's create a directory first we want to put our site into. So sudo make -p. Let's go var www dash. Let's call this Ghost site. Okay, let's run some permissions over that. It's like my old days of web hosting. When I first started, I used to configure all these Linux servers. It was very manual back then as well. No command lines, no nothing. So I kind of enjoy getting back into this a little bit. Okay, let's modify the executions of www Ghost site. Let's navigate to it. cd var Ghost site. Bam. Okay, we're in there. So now we're going to run the install process, which now that we're in the working directory, it's basically a case of doing a Ghost install. And it's checking for the permissions, downloading the Ghost installer. So all of our prereqs are in play. So I looked for the logged in user, current folder permissions, capabilities, MySQL, memory, free space, and the latest Ghost versions, everything that we basically did before this. So during the install, the CLI is going to ask a number of questions to configure the site. So yeah, let's go through this and work through it. Let's wait for it to download. All right, so enter the blog URL. So let's work on, okay, so let's enter a blog URL. I created one through Cloudflare before, so HTTPS. We're going to go ghost.slammerlabs.com. Into the local host name, that's correct. Username, which I believe is what we set up before. And let's see if that MySQL query worked. Enter a database name. Configuring. Do you wish to set up a Ghost MySQL user? I think so. Let's run with that. Do you wish to set up engine X? So let's do that. Because otherwise, if you're doing it manually, why would you want to do that? Do you want to set up with SSL? Yes, we do want SSL. Okay, so I think it's going to probably enter your email for SSL. Okay, let's just put in. I wonder what type of SSL certificate it actually generates here. Oh, Acme. There we go. Let's encrypt. Standard. That's pretty good. Okay, so it's going to go through and setting up this part, this automatically. I love Let's Encrypt. I've written a couple of blog posts about Let's Encrypt before. Actually, you know, if you look at the Acme that script it's running, that's the same thing that I would run. I would do it on PowerShell as opposed to doing it on this Linux system. Okay, system D. So this is the process manager tool to keep Ghost running smoothly. So simple answer is yes on that because it's default. And the next one is to start Ghost. Yes. So starting Ghost. Here we go. So nothing has failed so far. So it's got the maintenance commands as well, right? So once this goes through, we can do a Ghost help and we'll see what's available to us. So here we go. Ghost was successfully completed. To complete the setup, visit there. So let's do that first. So let's copy that. Take us to the back end of Ghost itself. Now this is obviously just hopefully the service is just starting up or it's going to time out on me, one of the two. Ah, there we go. Okay. That's not a good start, is it? Sydney ghost.slammerlabs.com. All right. Something didn't go to plan there. Let's take a look. What if I use the IP address? What's actually, well, Ghost help. Okay, so let's do Ghost. What are we doing here? Ghost ls. Whoops. Okay, so we get some nice information there. Running production. I guess that port number. Maybe I should have specified that port number. I'm wondering whether that port number has anything to do with it here. Let's try. So what was that port number? That port number was 2368. Let us try and go directly to the IP address to see if anything's responding there. Okay, Nginx is responding. HTTPS. So you've got to think that maybe it's an issue. What if I take that off? What do we get? Have I spelt it right? Have I got the right IP address in? Now, there's a possibility that this is actually firewall related. So let's see. Let's just add a rule here. in my light sail for HTTPS. Let's create that rule. It's never the network, is it? Okay, let's go again. Would you look at that? Okay, there we go. Never the network, always a firewall rule. Okay, create our account. So let's just do this as a ghost site, full name, password. Okay, invite staff and, yeah, okay. Apparently that password was insecure. So that's pretty good though. That's part of Ghost's appeal, I think, to a lot of people, that it is, it's modern. Not to say that WordPress is not great. But the fact that it's got that built into it's pretty good. Okay, let's save that. Might as well add that in there. Invite. Ghost works best when shared with others. Collaborate, get feedback on posts, working together. Do you have to do that or not? Maybe I'll just add in my work address and we'll just invite one user. It's a collaboration platform as well. Okay, so here we go. Logged in, we've got a dark theme. Yep, there we go. So general, title and description, ghost site, thoughts, stories and ideas, time zone. So all the usual stuff now that we have, I guess we can configure now from this particular portal in terms of branding. All right, so then this is what it's going to look like. So let's just go to https ghost.slammerlabs.com. So there's the site with the default theme as well. Can we change? Let's have a look. This actually didn't work for me before, so I'm actually interested to see if I can upload a new cover picture. That'll do. We've still got that happening. Okay, now this was happening before in my previous site. So the problem that I've got here is the fact that HTTPS, but that actual image, but that link is actually in, I don't know. What's going on? I've got to try to work that out. And I might actually, try and work that out a little bit later on because I have seen that happening. But in any case, themes, in terms of the themes, it's got a pretty cool way to actually install themes like WordPress, got your different themes that you can put on. If you want to install it, you basically install and it'll do it for you. You can activate it. If you want to view more, it's got a fairly cool way to do it where you got a lot of the free ones, paid ones and whatnot. But say we wanted to just create a journal. Let's have a look here. Let's get a funky one going. Why is it so hard to choose? Let's just do that one. So free. It'll show you what it looks like. And then you can install it. And then to install it, we put in the actual URL and it goes off and installs it. Install, activate it. And if we go to the Ghost site, there you go. Oh, that worked. There you go. That image is actually up. Awesome. Okay, so there we go. That's a quick introduction in how to install Ghost onto a vanilla Ubuntu server. I think it looks like it's got potential. So from here on in, I'm going to try and do a few, from here on in, I'm going to play with it a little bit more, get familiar with the back end, understand how it works, and go from there. And I think I will do a WordPress migration a little bit later on. But the thing about the WordPress thing is WordPress has such a great ecosystem. It is an ecosystem in itself, all the plugins and whatnot that you're used to. So I wonder how that's going to translate into Ghost. And actually, if we do a Google search. Let's search for migrate WordPress to Ghost. There's got to be some instructions on this already out there. There we go, an official migration guide. I'm not going to go through this, but it looks like it can be done